switching quickly to heroes. A very quick story, John. You were in Quadrophenia, of course, and you took me to meet the cast. It was where was it? The Apollo or the Hammersmith? I can't think where it was. The big centenary thing that you took me.
Oh yeah, the anniversary. Yeah,
the anniversary. Yeah. So anyway, Toyah was there, of course, Phil Daniels and a few people. My personal hero, who's much more important than you as a hero and anyone else, is Mark Wingett, who was in it. But of course, Mark Wingett's in the bill, and I'm a bill aficionado. And you said to me, and I said to you, how am I going to meet him? One of my all-time heroes. And you said, just be normal. And I was going to the gig thinking, I mustn't mention the bill. I walked straight up to him and I said, what's it like being in the bill? Totally fucking blew it, which gets me back to heroes and stuff. Otway and Mike and yourself, when you've met heroes, has it been a great experience or a really bad experience? Can you remember anything?
Very ordinary, I remember, any of the stars I've met. But the trouble is, you see, the guys I met that you know as stars, they were just ships that pass in the night. There were other bands. I mean, when I met Tom Jones up in Darlington doing this effing pantomime, he was at a local club. I met him just because I was hanging around after the gig. There were all the women chucking their knickers on the floor for him and everything, all that stuff. And he only had, it's not unusual, was the number one at the time. And he was going down a stall. And I remember I was playing the piano, the intro to What I Say, Jerry Lee Lewis version. And he came out, and again, Mr. Aldrin, he said, you like Jerry Lee, do you? And I said, yeah, and we had a little chat about Jerry Lee. No side on him at all, you know. And when you think how massive that guy became, to Elvis following him around into the bogs at Las Vegas to talk to him. And then the same with the Beatles and the Stones, you know, they were just guys, massive stars. In fact, I can't think I've ever met a star that was way up there from already, you know. I sort of met people that.
What about Frank Sinatra? Did you meet Frank Sinatra?
No. Now, there's one guy I wouldn't have minded meeting. But yeah, I can't really think of any stars. I mean, when I met Bobby V when he was a star. He was toured with Bobby because he was very big over here.
Oh, yeah.
And
A Night Has 1,000 Eyes.
That's right, yeah. He had a bunch of hits. And but he, again, sweetest man, really lovely guys. I think they all are. There's very few nasty bastards, I think, on a one-to-one. I think there aren't many that'll try and put. They don't like punters a lot of the time because punters take liberties a lot of the time.
What about Billy Fury? Was he friendly? Or I know Tommy
Billy Fury. I met Billy. Billy was lovely. I met him not that long before he died, which was a shame. He was very ill, yellow. But he was a sweetheart, and he said hello to me because we had an affinity because I'd played in Liverpool and stuff. And I met Cliff briefly, but that was a very long time ago, and it was really brief. But Adam Faith, again, another sweet guy, and he was a big star, and I used to sort of. I liked his records. He wasn't the greatest singer, but he made good records.
Good actor, Adam.
Good actor, yeah. Yeah, he was.
Over to Bucky, yeah.
Yeah. But he was a sweetheart. They all were, you know, it's of their day. And I met some of the Yanks that came over, Del Shannon and people like that.
Right.
Sweetest guys.
But the weird thing is, Mike, my cousin Paul, right, who's got the biggest Joe Meek collection or something in Britain or Europe, you're his hero. I mean, the fact that I know you is he can't get over. So I guess all heroes have their heroes, you know. He's
aiming low, so he doesn't have to try too hard.
Yeah, he is. He's not very good at maths, put it that way. What about you? What about you, Otway? Have you? It's hard to think of you modelling yourself on anyone at all, really. But have you got?
That's his strength. He hasn't.
I think it's only Bob Dylan that I think I'd be completely and totally sort of like really just having to clue what to say.
Yeah.
What would you say? I really like your songs, Bob. You know?
Yeah.
But that's the only one I can think of that I would just not have a clue.
Mm.
Yeah, it is a weird one. What about you, Johnny Altman? Any heroes in rock and roll? I could guess.
Loads of stories all around, really. Actually, just putting a tag on the end of your story, Steve. There was an actor, I can't remember his name, I was reading about recently, and he went into a record shop in New York, and who should be standing almost next to him but David Bowie? And he
Oh, wow.
adored, I can't remember the actor's name, but he really adored David Bowie. He thought, what should I say? He was kind of paralysed. He thought, I don't want to make an idiot of myself. And he walked out of the shop. and to this day, he's glad he didn't say anything because he knew that he would have said something that would have really embarrassed himself. You know, saying, "Loved all your albums, David." You know, something like that. Some old cliche. But he didn't actually say a word, but he saw him and he was close to him. But my story is a Pete Townsend story, which is one of my favourites, and it proved to me, guys, you know, that the famous people are human. Like you're just saying, like,
Yeah, very much so, yeah.
Cut a long story short, saw the Who at Dreamland Ballroom in Margate with a friend of mine called Paul Fitchy. We were about 16, I think. And we went backstage afterwards. You know what it was like in those days, Mike. It wasn't a big security thing. It wasn't like access all areas, was it? Well, you know, probably wouldn't have been a bit with the Beatles tour, but so we went backstage and got the Who's autographs, and we met all of them, and it was great. We had a fantastic time. Got out of the ballroom, and the last train had gone, so we hitchhiked. Tried to hitchhike out of Margate. People don't do much hitching these days, do they? Anyway, stuck our thumb out. This big American car pulled up. We looked in. It was Pete Townsend and his wife Karen at the time. And so he said, "Oh, where are you going up towards London?" I said, "Yeah, jump in." So we jumped in, sat on the back seat. Lovely big American. Can you imagine these two, like, you know, young lads from Kent, you know? And he bought us fish and chips and a bottle of lemonade on the way out of Margate. And he dropped me at my home in Herne Bay on the North Kent coast. And he dropped my mate at Chestfield, it's a little place where there's a golf course just near Whitstable. Of course, we went to school on Monday morning. And we said, "Hey, guess what happened on the weekend?" You know, and we went, "Oh, Pete Townsend, he picked us up in his car." And they went, "Yeah,
of course he did."
Probably the other one. Yeah, but it's not his story. It just meant to me that, you know, this man was a human being and a very kind human being. And bizarrely, over the years, we talked about Quadrophenia, Steve, you know, and I met him working on that. He doesn't live far from me in Richmond. I did a little work on his wife Rachel's album once, and so, you know, we kind of like bumped into each other over the years. And I said, "It's funny that we keep meeting, Pete." And he said, "Yeah, it must be some sort of karmic loop," he called it. So there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Karmic loop.
Yeah.
But what is weird is that we tend to think as a proviso that famous people are going to be assholes. I think, and what you said, Mike, is interesting because so should people be nice. So they should.
Yeah.
I mean, that's their job. It's like all you three, you know, you have your fan base. And when they meet you, they say, "Well, I met Mike Barrett. He was nice." Well, of course you should be nice. I mean, it's. I don't know why it is. Oh, I bumped into Phil Collins and he said hello. Well, so he bloody should.
Yeah.
It's crazy, isn't it? I mean, what's he going to say? Fuck off.
Very ordinary bloke that plays the drums and sings a bit. You know, it's as simple as that. You know, you're fortunate enough. In my case, I was fortunate to find I had a voice when I was like 14. As soon as my voice broke, I realised I could sing and stuff. And then I get people, even now at my humble level, fans come up, they've loved you for whatever, Joe Meek or whatever the reason, and they expect you to be a bit sort of, you know, a bit above yourself and all the rest of it. And then when they start talking to you, they say, "Oh," they're sort of, "Oh, you're just a bloke," sort of thing. And it gets to the point where you're talking about that sort of thing. You say, "Well, yeah, they're all the same. I've met loads of these people. They're just ordinary blokes that have got lucky with the public in the public eye. Nothing special about them other than their talent that they've got. The rest of it, they go to the loo like the rest of us, you know." And so it's I don't put anybody on pedestals anymore. You know, I do in terms of. a very real talent that I love. I mean, Clapton's guitar playing and his vocals, obviously, but I've bumped into Eric Clapton a few times, and he's just a lovely, ordinary bloke. But you know, there's that bit of talent that you really admire, and it's like anybody that's talented. You know, we all admire what they do, but as a person, they're just another person. You know, they're no better than you or me.